Hi, it's Meki, and I am here to talk today about a free plugin from Crowhill, which is called Icky Bass. That is their latest drop. As normal with Crowhill, when they have something come in, there's something that will be then subsequently dropping out. So this is, as I say, Icky Bass. Very cool. The one that's dropping out is Rhythm Machine, so if you do want to pick that up, add it to your basket, make sure you get it before it goes. So Icky Bass itself is inspired by the White Stripes album, Icky Thump, and it's a Fender Rhodes piano fed through a knife drop fuzz pedal, so it creates like a really interesting wahs and buzz effects. And to add it to your account, it's fairly simple. Basically, you just go to the website. I'll share a link below. You download the assets and add it to your account. If you have an account, you will likely have the installer. If not, you can get the app. And the app lets you manage all of your plugins from Crowhill and everything that feeds into Vaults, which is what this sits in. So you literally can see it there. You can click on install. It will install that. Doesn't take very long. Obviously, it depends on your internet speed. But once it is installed, you just then would load that into a track using the Vaults plugin. And it is as simple as that. Like I say, it doesn't take very long. It's also worth just double checking. If you've added things to your library, that's the main thing to do. You don't necessarily have to download them instantly or install them instantly. Once it has done, it will tell you that it's installing it, and it will tell you to reload your DAW so you can then immediately start using it. So we're just going to load up a track, and you'll see here I've added in Vaults and immediately started playing with it. One of the first things I noticed was just how synthy this bass sounds. Lots of wah, lots of fuzz to it. Some really interesting sounds. So here I was just kind of playing notes and playing around with it. You've got, a couple main interfaces to control it. You've got two main wheels, one for the knife, one for the exposure. Adjusting those just changes the kind of main sound that you have from the plugin, from the instrument. You can adjust the auto wah with the individual dials. Same as you can also do that for the chorus, the phaser, and the reverb. So you've got lots of adjustments that you can do as and when you're playing around with it. I spent some time really kind of trying to figure out what sounded interesting. I think you can push it to the extremes. I think you can get some really, really interesting sounds out of it. But it is around kind of playing where you feel is comfortable. The default level is fine, and just using the knife and the EXP dials gives you lots of options as well. But the added ability of a very simple but straightforward and intuitive interface means that you can just adjust those on an individual setting. So you're not necessarily tied to a default. You can create your own defaults for it. You could set levels that feel more comfortable and more in line with what you're trying to create and whatever style you're trying to produce from it. And so what I decided to do was I was playing around with it initially, getting to a point where I was happy in terms of what it could do. And then I decided, as you'll see very shortly, of adding in some chords and just putting some chords into it, looping those, and then just playing around with the dials and seeing what I could get in terms of interesting sounds out of this. So you see here, I've put some chords into this track, and then I'm just letting it loop. And as I'm playing around with it, I'm adjusting the instrument itself, using the dials, adjusting my auto wah, adjusting the chorus, the phaser, and just really playing around and seeing what you can get from it. I think, look, I'm a big fan of Crowhill. If you don't already have Vaults, you absolutely should. I forget what their drop rate for their instruments are, but they provided, I think I could literally create an entire track using nothing but Crowhill instruments. And in fact, that is something that I want to do and play around with. It's great for producing music, honestly. I think, again, rather than just your normal kind of generic bass, if you want to create something really synthy and really futuristic, it definitely fits that bill. Again, it's free on Crow Hill's website. We'll share a link below. Pick up whatever you can from them for free because, like I say, they do some great stuff. I can often be found making music on Twitch, also sharing things that I make on YouTube here as well, and all those other places. If you are interested, I'll put a link to my music below. And well, like I say, I'll also put a link to Crow Hill. So please check those out. I've been Meki, and I hope you have a wonderful time making music.